The Aztecs are the goat of hot chocolate makers. And why were the Aztecs the greatest of all time? They invented colored hot chocolate. They also invented spicy hot chocolate with vanilla and chili. They would serve them in gold cups, and they would drink 50 cups a day. So the hot chocolate that we have in the West is a pale imitation of what the Aztecs had. So we're going to recreate brilliant Aztec recipes. Let's kick off, Paul. Hot chocolate Aztec style starts off with a lot of hard physical labor. We're going to have 7 hours of grinding a day.
Now it all starts here. I've got some cocoa beans that I've already removed that shell from. I've got a couple of nice whole ones in there, and I'm going to use my traditional method. I'm going to use my metate to start grinding them down.
Metate is your Aztec Magimix. I mean, every household would have had one of these, and it would have been used for tortillas and corn and also chocolate.
Yeah, exactly. So you can see, just get straight in there. The big thing is you need to make sure that you've got enough on there. So many times people try and do this with like 3 beans, 4 beans, 5 beans.
Yeah.
You need way more than that.
Paul is going to be laboring the whole day to turn this into chocolate. So the hand grinding took a lot of hard physical labor, maybe up to 7 hours a day. And they would often do chocolate and corn and then make their tortillas. And chocolate and corn provided the building blocks of their very civilization. Now, corn gave them cheap energy, and chocolate provided the elites with the creativity and the energy to go off and build their pyramids and their amazing art, and would give energy for the warriors. So they would then whisk the hot chocolate into the first cappuccino. And sorry, we're gonna upset all the Europeans here. The Aztecs didn't have any milk in their society. I mean, have you tried milking a llama?
I'm sure you wouldn't get very far with it.
Exactly, so they didn't have milk. And as a demonstration, this is a supermarket hot chocolate, and it's powdered with milk. And Paul, why does the West have to turn everything into powder? The other thing about powdered chocolate is powder means that it's been alkalized, which was a Dutch process. All the goodness has been stripped out of it, right?
What you might notice is that the alkalized cocoa powder has that slight reddish tinge to it, and it's that original reddish tinge to the Dutch process cocoa powder that gave us the original red velvet cake. It used to just be a cocoa powder based sponge cake, and because of that reddish cocoa powder, it had a reddish tinge to the cake itself.
Okay, so we've got the Dutch to thank for stripping all the goodness out of chocolate, but they did help produce the red velvet cake.
So what just to talk you through what I've been doing here is I've just got my grind down cocoa in here,
right,
and a little bit of coconut sugar. Now this normally, not all recipes had something sweet in it, so whenever we're adding coconut sugar, we're sort of replicating more that sort of European edition of sugar, and just water, and that's it. And I'm just heating this up now just to sort of bring it all together, and you can see that even as I heat it up, it gets a little bit, it's getting, a tiny bit foamy, but that's not where the magic happens. We've got our lovely liquid in there, pour it in here, and then I'd say give yourself a bit of room. So they would have poured it from a great height, and they would have just done this over and over.
This was a real skill. It was seen as a sort of almost magical ability to create beautiful cacao.
There's distance there falling, there's a natural aeration to it and everything like that. There we go. Shall we have our first little...
Let's try chocolate cappuccino. Cheers.
Cheers.
That's actually delicious. That's amazing.
Just that little bit of sugar, because we're used to our palates with chocolate, but just that lovely, freshly ground chocolate down, so you've got this rich flavour.
This is powerful stuff, and I've got texture in there, and I've got flavour, and it's energetic. This is way more powerful than the energy drinks that, the youth of today drink. This is the real energy drink. What we're trying to do is create a drink that we could have served to an Aztec emperor. And it's a combination of cacao with honey, vanilla, and ear flour. And it's called
Xocóatl.
and we might prepare it for a wedding or a celebration, and it was seen as a very much a sort of celebratory drink. Because we're using the beautiful vanilla, which is of course indigenous to Mexico, I'm already getting the beautiful perfume of the vanilla and the chocolate. And the chocolate and the vanilla is one of the absolutely central flavors, and it was associated with marriages, and brides often presented cacao to their brooms, and it symbolized a union and fertility. And we would then add flowers, and you're adding rose.
A bit harder to get our hands on some ear flowers, so we've just gone for a little bit of rose, and we're not going to use honey. We're going to go back to Mexico to get sort of a modern day version of honey, and we're going to use some agave syrup instead.
Yeah, I mean, they would have used agave or honey. Of course, they had no sugar.
And then, of course, in goes our water, because there was no milk back then. I'm just going to give that a little bit of a mix. And now I'm going to get that little bit of heat going through it. There's a reason why vanilla is the one crossover ingredient, shall we say. It's the one thing that the Aztecs had, that the people before them had, but what we still have to this day.
And they would have grown next to each other, so that's why the flavors are so complementary.
And I'm just giving that a little bit of a heat there.
Yeah, I'm getting the waft. You know, it's got a floral notes, it's got vanilla notes, it's got chocolatey notes.
And the big thing is as well, they didn't really have what we might consider strainers today. You think about when we make anything with loose leaves or petals or anything like that, we would strain all of that out, but it just stays in there. Everything goes in there.
You would have liked the texture of the drink as well. Cheers.
Cheers. Wow, you've got the vanilla, you've got the floral aromas coming through.
This is an amazing hot chocolate.
Yeah, it's got some great flavors coming through in it, really enjoyable. You can see how it's got that brightness to it from the flowers. You can see how that brightness would be associated with celebration.
We're going to spice it up now, and we're going to go with an absolutely classic Aztec drink, which involves the chili. This is ideal for the warriors and the high priests. It also has a somewhat tragic overtone, because when the drink was served, they would use achiote, which would make it a red, blood-like paste. The Spanish Inquisition looked at it and thought it was devilish and pagan. As you know, nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Nobody
expects the Spanish Inquisition. And it had tragic consequences, because a lot of the women who were preparing the cacao were basically imprisoned because they thought they were poisoning their husbands. But the truth of the matter is they were making beautiful hot chocolate.
Exactly. So what I've done there is I've just chopped up some fresh chilies. I've got my achiote.
Or anato. And it came from the lipstick tree, and it was associated with women wearing lipstick in the Aztec time.
Well, judging by how it's just stained my finger, I could understand how that could be that association.
Yeah, a bit of rouge.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
all you could do with a bit more rouge.
No, I couldn't. I am pink enough as it is. We're just going to add a little bit of sugar, just because that's what we're used to. A bit of water in there, just to begin breaking all of those up. Get in there.
The high priest may have used it before the human sacrifice to sort of calm the victim down before he was sacrificed to the gods.
Calm them down with chili before giving them a hit of adrenaline.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, fair enough. So now I'm just going to add the cocoa to this, give it a bit more of a mix, and then we'll have our drink.
Okay, so let's taste this fiery chili concoction.
Let's get the devil's juice into us.
You can see how this was associated with paganism and the devil and blood, and but it's spicy, it's alive.
It's going to
Cheers.
wake us up.
Wow. Yeah, that's gonna.
Whoa, I
That's
love
gonna-
that.
yeah, yeah.
I love that. Honestly,
This is warrior. This is energy. This is powerful stuff.
if you had one of these before running into battle,
Yeah.
no one is beaten.
Yeah.
No one. Not
This
the
is-
Spanish, not the other. Oh.
This is going to turn you into a berserker.
I tell you what it also is. Absolutely lovely for the middle of winter.
Yeah.
Like, I am surprised that chili hot chocolate is not becoming more of a thing, because I think it just helps add that extra warmth on top of the comfort of a hot chocolate once it gets cold.
Yeah. This is powerful stuff. Okay, so the final one is the green spirulina. The spirulina was a Mexican specialty, and it's not actually from seaweed, but it's from algae in the lake of Tlilxochitl.
A freshwater lake.
It's a freshwater algae. It's not seaweed. Everybody thinks spirulina is seaweed, but it's not. Of course, the Aztecs lived on this island in the middle of the lake, harvested a lot of the things from that lake, and spirulina is one of them. But it's incredibly healthy. And let's see if we can get a nice green color, because, you know, the emperors would have had multicolored hot chocolates, you know, not this brown, boring kind of stuff. That is definitely green. This is a superfood of superfoods.
Oh yeah, exactly. These days, a lot of these health food stores and supplements, they're all made out of things that the Aztecs and the other cultures of the Central Americans had from their everyday diet. We've just
exactly.
finally discovered how good for us they are.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to question who had the greatest civilization. You, as a Spanish person, turning up with churros and gruel and oatmeal and hard tack biscuits, versus the Aztecs, who had this incredible wealth of chocolate and vanilla and chili and spirulina. I mean, it's like, I mean, it was incredible.
It was. So now we're just going to add our cocoa to this again, our ground down. We're just heating it up a little bit more to make sure that it fully breaks down. As you can see, we've got this lovely deep green color to this now.
It looks magical, it looks mystical. I can imagine being an Aztec priest in my temple drinking my green hot chocolate.
Most definitely. Well, cheers.
Like a magic potion. I think we can work on that one, Paul, a bit.
That one
You know,
needs it. Do you know what it does? It tastes healthy.
It does taste, it's like you're having your greens. But
Yeah.
I think I would add vanilla and a bit of sweetener to bring it alive.
Exactly. We're getting packed full of all of those nutrients. And that's the other thing as well about these recipes. When you make your sort of original style chocolate drink like this, by doing it with the freshly ground up nibs, you're getting direct access to everything that we talk about, everything that you've spoken about.
Yeah, the polyphenols, the antioxidants. But really, Paul, we're going to have to work on that recipe. And, you know, we're going to have to think again about this human sacrifice.
I
issue.
know. I know. Something tells me my days are numbered with this human sacrifice bit.
Okay, so we have been through the whole range of the Aztec drinks, and I guess the essence of what we're trying to do is represent that stuff, this powdery, infantile, milky, with all sorts of, it's just nothing like a genuine Aztec hot chocolate. I mean, it's just night and day. I mean, if you presented that to the Aztec Emperor and said, this is hot chocolate, I mean, that's the point you get sacrificed.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you ruined it.
Montezuma's not having that.
Oh, no. I mean, you're not going to drink 50 cups of that.
No.
You would drink 50 cups of this. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the Aztec hot chocolate, and we'll be back with an improved recipe on the spirulina.
On the spirulina, yes. One to work on, one to work on.